Hello, my sewing friends. Here is my review on Vogue 8878, a Marcy Tilton design. I'm Jen, and this is the sewing room where I made this, which is this. And I am becoming a huge fan of Marcy Tilton. I love the way that she designs in such a way that it's just a little bit quirky, a little bit different. The style lines are a little bit odd or interesting. That's probably the better way to put it. I love it. I made this version, and you can really get a sense of the style lines here. You've got this princess seam coming down. You've got a pleat right here at the bottom of the, just below the waistline of the dress. It's essentially, it's like a dart that opens up to form a pleat. And then you've got this center back seam and some seams here. You've got a back yoke. You can do sleeve options. You do have a little collar with a drawstring, and you can also do it with buttons down the front or a separating zipper. This one's color blocked out, you can see. Well, I chose to do the sleeveless one, but I was going to do the buttons down the front. And I got the dress finished, and I decided I don't want to do that. I want to do the zipper. So I ended up doing that instead. I made this from some drapery or upholstery cotton that I had thrifted. It is a very large scale print, and I was absolutely in love with the bigness of the print. Now, when you have a print like that, you really need to be very selective about what kind of a garment that you're going to make. And I was worried that in making this dress from that big print that I was going to lose the scale of it, the sense of it, because of all the style lines and the way that the print would get broken up. But I don't think that happened. I think that you still get a sense of how big this print is. And this is just like a calico cotton, but a heavier. So that's one thing about this fabric that I think lends itself to the design, because if you look closely, you can see, especially here, this has got a little bit of that bell shape, you know, where it comes down and it straightens out. It doesn't pull in like a lantern shape, but it's got like a bell shape to it. And I like that a lot. I love that it has a hemband on the bottom, and you don't have to mess around with putting a hem in. I don't, you know, anytime I can not do that, I appreciate that. It has a collar with a drawstring. I used some velvet ribbon that I just had in my stash. A couple of things about this dress. First of all, I was going to do the buttons, and I had black buttons, and I put them on the dress. I pinned them on the dress form, and I didn't like them. I thought, why did I think this was going to be better than the zipper? Because the zipper is what makes this a kind of a designer dress. So the buttons were getting lost in the pattern, and I didn't really want to make buttonholes. So I decided to opt for the zipper instead. Now, the thing about this center front piece is that it's cut wider for the buttons because you have an overlap. You know, you have this piece and then this piece, and they need to overlap to put the buttons in. And so they were a little bit wide to use for the zipper. Well, I didn't want to take the whole thing apart. So what I did was just folded it under. Now, this is not something I often do because I am such a perfectionist. I always want to get it exactly right. But I thought, in this case, you know what? I think it'll be okay if I just do that. So I didn't have a zipper, ended up having to go buy a zipper, but I bought one. It's plastic, and it's a separating zipper like you would put in a coat, like a parka. And, you know, you could do this with metal. You could do it with any separating zipper, a lighter weight one, you know, whatever you want, whatever you could find. But that's how I did it. And what I love is it's kind of such a design feature of the dress, you know? I mean, it's just, I just love it. I love the way that it looks, the way that you get that line down the front, and it really sets off the shape of the dress, the lines of the dress. I love that. So all I did was turn it under and then top stitch the zipper on. You can tell on the inside. See how I did that? All I did was fold it under and stitch it. That's it. And then I, actually that worked to my favor because I had a finished edge on the inside here. Instead of having to like serge it or anything like that, I just stuck the zipper in and stitched it. And that was the end of it. The one thing I did run into trouble with was the hemband. And the reason I ran into trouble was that it was wider than the bottom of the dress after I put the zipper in. So I was thinking I would just take it off and, you know, like line it up with where the zipper was and do it that way. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I just turned it under. Knew that because I was going to top stitch it anyway, I went ahead and just top stitched it. So it ended up fine. The dress has pockets. Of course it does. It's fairly loose fitting, and I'm undecided on whether or not I want to take it in just a little bit to give it a little more structure. But I'm kind of loving how comfortable it is. The only thing is when you turn, you know, and you look at the whole dress, it can make you look really like you're wearing a tent. And I don't know that I'm a fan of that. So there's that. The one last thing I will tell you about is this opening for the drawstring. What you do is you take the collar and you put it together, right sides together, flip it the wrong side out, and you've got a folded edge here on the inside for the facing. And before you do that, you put in a buttonhole right here so that you can run the drawstring through, and then you do a couple of lines of stitching to create the casing. Well, I didn't want to do a buttonhole. I just didn't want to do it. So I used a method that I've done on another pair of knit pants. Here's how you do it. So here's how I did this. Let's call this part the collar, and this is right sides up. I cut a 2-inch piece square, any fabric, it doesn't matter, it's a facing fabric. So I cut that, and then I marked where the buttonhole was on that. Now I'll mark about a, I don't know, probably 3/4 inch buttonhole. I'm just going to eyeball where it is in the center, and I'm going to mark that right there. You do want to get kind of in the center because you want to make sure that the top and the bottom are, you're leaving enough room there. So if you don't have a good 3/4 to an inch on either end of your buttonhole, then you just need a bigger square. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to stitch in a rectangle. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go down, go across, come back up and go across again. And then I'm going to stop. Okay, we're just going to stitch in a rectangle. I'm not going to pin, although you could if you really want to make sure that you hit that buttonhole underneath, but buttonhole mark underneath. But I'm just going to do it this way. Once I get close, I'm going to just turn around, pivot, take about 2, I think I'll take 1 more stitch, and then come back up the other side. So that's all right. Another 3 stitches, and then I'll just catch up with where I started. So now I have a rectangle that I've stitched. So now I have my little rectangle stitched here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the center and I'm going to slice kind of this open, and then I'm going to go at an angle into the corners. So all I'm going to do is fold that in half and get it started. Okay, now I'm going to go down here, clip into the corners, turn it around, go back down, clip into these corners. Make sure you don't go beyond the corner, but just go right into the corner. So now I have an opening here. And what I'm going to do is just turn this to the inside. Just push all of this to the inside. See how I'm just pulling that so it will go flat. But see, on the outside, I have a finished hole. Now what I'm going to do now is go over and I'm going to top stitch around the edge of this. If you're going to do this, you should press it. And actually, I think I'll take it over and press it first. But then I'm going to top stitch around. Okay, let's top stitch around the edge of this. And there we go. I have the perfect little opening for a drawstring. But it's as simple as that. You also want to probably use a matching fabric. There you go. Simple, easy peasy, 2 minutes and you're done. It worked a lot easier for me. And so, yeah, you can wear this up like this. Get a very designerly look. Oh, yes, very designery. Or you can fold it down, which is, of course, what I like. I can wear this with heels, and I like that because, sometimes I just want to wear heels with a dress. But anytime, you want to dress it up a little bit, it's kind of fun to wear it with heels. So, yeah, you could probably do this with leggings and boots or booties if you wanted to. And that's what I think of the Marcy Tilton. I don't know what I want to, the zipper dress maybe? I don't know. I always call dresses a certain kind of a dress. I give them names so that I can remember what it is. I don't know. Maybe this will be the zipper dress. I don't know. Anyway, let me know if you've made this, if you made changes, if you have any tips or tricks to share with everyone in the comments. I would love for you to do that. I would love to hear those. So that'll do it for me for now. And if you want to see a playlist of all of my pattern reviews, check right over here. Thanks for watching. I love you all. And don't forget, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. I want to do that every single day. And I hope you do too.